Hey everybody, this is Eric Abent with SlashGear, and today we are taking a look at the Sony Reader PRS-T2, Sony's latest e-reader, which comes with a 6-inch Pearl e-ink screen, currently displaying the main menu. Right underneath the screen we have a row of physical buttons, which I really like. We've got page back, page forward, home, previous, and a menu button that you can use to open the menu while you're reading a book. On the bottom of the unit, there isn't too much going on. There's a reset button, a micro USB port for charging and for connecting it to your computer, which is handy, and a power button. And then on the back, again, not too much going on. We've got the reader logo, and then down here we've got a micro SD slot for additional storage. Let's jump back into the main menu here, where it shows your most recently read book along with the 4 books that were most recently added to your library. Alternatively, you can, oops, I opened a book. I didn't mean to do that. Let's go back to the home page. Additionally, you can look at reader store selections there, which are books that are recommended for you. And then down here we have a button to take a look at your bookshelf. Let's open that up. You can see all the books you currently have in your library in a nice little bookshelf format. And then we've got the reader store, which may take a second to load. This thing comes equipped with Wi-Fi, so you can access the reader store anywhere there's a Wi-Fi connection that you of course have access to. But the reader store, actually, I was impressed with. There's for Sony, which isn't that big of a player in the e-reader market yet, there's actually a healthy amount of books available. It's very nice. It's easy browsing the store. You've got browse buttons. You can sort by new arrivals, authors. You can take a look at bundles, go to the newsstand to buy periodicals, or you can sort by bestsellers. And then up there you've got shortcuts to your account and your cart, and then a search bar. Reader store is very nice. I liked it a lot. Let's go back home, and then we'll check out applications before we jump into a book. We've got the public library app, the browser, shortcut to your periodicals, the handwriting app, which you can create a new one, I believe. There we go. And also this the Sony e-reader comes packed with a stylus, which is handy for people who have big hands and by extension fat fingers like me. It came in handy. I appreciated its inclusion and it made me quite happy. Let's go back into applications. There's the handwriting application right there. Dictionary, American Oxford Dictionary. You can save notes. Those are just some words I was highlighting while I was playing around with this thing. I really should be hitting the back button instead of the home button. You can make text memos. There are pictures. There's a picture of the book, and actually the display is nice. The text that you see, the pictures that you see are nice and crisp. You can go to another one right there. I was very surprised. I liked it a lot. It's a pleasure reading on this thing because everything is so crisp and sharp. But also we've got settings. You can set up Facebook and you can set up Evernote through this menu. But let's go ahead and jump into a book, which happens to be A Storm of Swords by George R.R. Martin. As you can see, I've already said it, but the text is very nice and sharp. And if you press the menu button, you can open up the menu, which lets you change the font. Among other things, you can make it larger. You can make it another font entirely if you want. Oops, let's hit the back button. And now you've got super huge text if you need it. But I'm not blind just yet, so we're going to go back to smaller font and the original font for the Sony Reader PRS-T2, because I like that. You can switch pages by swiping or by using the buttons. I'm a fan of the buttons just because it doesn't get smudges on the screen. But it's nice that you can do both, to be honest. I like that feature a lot. And if you hold down, if you press and you hold on a word, you can open up its definition in the dictionary down here and you can expand that So it takes you to the full entry in the New Oxford American Dictionary. Or, alternatively, let's go back. Let's highlight that word again, Lord. Or you can search for that word on Wikipedia or Google. Or search for other instances of it in the book. Let's see, here you go, it takes you to the Wikipedia page for Lord in this case. It's very nice. It's handy if you're reading and you come across a word that you've never heard before, or if, say, they're talking about a real life place. You can also highlight entire sentences, entire phrases, entire quotes. Save them to Evernote if you want. You can share those quotes on Facebook. It's bringing social interaction to reading books. But a nice thing about this is that Sony has tried to minimize the number of times the screen flashes. There's one. I think they tried to get it down to once every 15 page turns. And of course, if you're zooming through the pages, it's going to flash a lot. But if you take your time going through the pages, it's not going to flash, which is definitely appreciated. Other e-readers don't do that. You get a lot of flashes on other e-readers, like the Kindle and the Nook. So it's nice that you don't get as many with this one. And like I said before, reading is great on this thing. In sunlight, it looks crystal clear. And really, I found that you don't need a ton of light to make the text on the screen readable. Of course, as much light as possible is preferable, but if you're in a low light situation, you can probably make do. It doesn't have a backlight, of course, so you're not going to be able to read it in complete dark, obviously, but it is a very nice screen, and I was surprised because, Sony isn't a major player in the e-reader market yet, and they've put out with the PRS-T2, they've put out a really solid e-reader that a lot of people are going to like. A lot of people are going to really like these physical buttons. I know a lot of people aren't crazy about touchscreens, and I wouldn't be either on an e-reader for flipping through. Just leaves too many smudges and then it makes the text hard to read. But there's a matte finish on this screen too, so reflectiveness is down to a minimum as well, which is always nice. Putting a glossy screen on an e-reader wouldn't make much sense when one of the big selling points of e-readers is that you can read them in direct sunlight. And this thing looks, as you can tell from some of the pictures that I've posted, this thing looks really good in direct sunlight. But yeah, this is Sony's new e-reader, the PRS-T2, and I'm a fan. Sony's got a fan with me. Reading on this thing is great. And it makes it even harder to put good books down. Just because it's so light, it feels good in your hand. And the text looks great. So yeah, be sure to check out our full review on SlashGear.com, and thanks for watching.